Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Today's case, I had something else planned, but this came up on my radar because it's almost in my backyard, 3 or 4 miles away from me, actually. We're talking about JENNAH Seibert. Now, I'm going to play a clip here. And I need to do put my little disclaimer up here for a minute. Fair use disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use of permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay, so with that said, we're going to take that away. Okay, now I'm going to actually hold up a clip, and then I'm going to talk about the rumors, things that are going around in this case. So buckle up, Buttercup. This is probably going to be a long one, okay? And then I'm going to get to the cards after I talk about the rumor mill and what police are putting out. Okay, so here she is, by the way. Oh. There's JENNAH. Very pretty. Very pretty. Okay, we are gonna... Nope. Oop.
Breaking on 11 at 11, this is the woman police found shot and killed inside a local home. And in the last 2 hours, sources confirmed her death is being investigated as a homicide. Channel 11's Rich Pierce says along Lenity School Road in Rostraver as police try to find a killer.
Tonight, we're getting our first up-close look at the house where this woman's body was found just about 11 hours ago. Police have left the scene, but you can see caution tape still remains. Law enforcement making it clear to us that it's still very early on in this investigation.
It happened on Lenity School Road of all places. You know, this doesn't happen.
Peace and quiet on Lenity School Road in Rostraver Township, broken by what sources are calling a homicide investigation at this house.
I came home today and I get a text message saying, "Hey, who got murdered on Lenity School Road?" And I was glad it wasn't me. But because there's not a whole lot on Lenity School Road.
County Coroner Tim Carson confirming to Channel 11 that this is the woman who was found inside. JENNAH Seibert, seen in these Facebook photos.
Just to see her go by, and she'd go by, be at the mailbox, she blew a horn, I waved to her, and that was it.
According to law enforcement, she appeared to have suffered from a gunshot wound and was found around noon Friday by a family member who called police.
There's usually really no serious crime around here, but apparently there is today.
News of the incident coming as a shock to neighbors.
Usually nothing ever crazy goes on out here, really. I mean, obviously with, drugs and whatnot, you gotta watch out with neighboring towns.
This is a joint investigation between county detectives and Rostraver police. They tell us they were serving search warrants well into the evening, but still no arrests have been made. Reporting in Rostraver Township, Rich Pierce, Channel 11 News.
Okay. So that's pretty much what they're putting out there right now. Now, hold on. I need to put my camera back into place. Okay, my phone. Now, she was engaged to be married. I've actually spoken to to JENNAH on a couple different occasions. A couple years ago, when I was looking to go to work, she worked for a recruiting agency for a local company. Well, it's a bit nationwide, but they had a They have a warehouse right down the highway from me. It's GE, General Electric. And where they do a lot of wire winding and all kinds of stuff. But so that's how I spoke to her. And I have some sources that have got some information. Some of it pretty reliable. And the sources are saying, this has not been confirmed. This is rumor, hearsay, alleged, okay? That the power was cut to the house. So, no security footage from her security cameras. And allegedly her fiance, Brian Murray, age 41, went to work, and then when he tried to call her, he tried to call her, is the rumor, and she wasn't answering, so he ran home to check on her, and he found her. And she supposedly was sound asleep in her bed when he left this morning, and that's where she was, with a pew-pew. Remember, I have to watch my words because of YouTube policies. Because it could be triggering to somebody. But the reports doesn't name what family member it was. But it could have been him. That's what the rumors are saying. Brian also has an extremely colorful past. Everything from a traffic stop where he peeled out. This was in 2015. Almost ran over a police officer that stopped him to begin with for a traffic citation. Took off, led police on a high-speed chase. Speeds up to like 120 miles per hour. Yeah. And apparently Jenna had expressed that in his past, he did have a DRUG problem. Again, another word that YouTube doesn't like. But, so seemingly that she has actually said that and people have heard her say that, I'm assuming that's true. Doing a background check on this character, it's a colorful past. There's an app out there called PA Docket. Ran his name, and boy, yeah. Anyhow, they were engaged to be married. And he works for this company, Murray and Sons Construction. How much does he actually get paid as a carpenter? Those of you out there, comment below if you know if a carpenter can afford a yacht, expensive cars, trips around the world, constantly going on vacations, eating at lavish restaurants all the time. Jenna drove an Alexa SUV. Now she had a good job herself. But tell me about the carpenter bit. I'm curious. I have my suspicions. Now, as I did research as to why was the power cut, obviously it was to turn off the cameras. Somebody had to know the layout of the house. Had to know whether or not those cameras had a cellular backup to continue feeding video footage to the cloud. They would have to know the answer to that. They would have to be in construction, most likely, and know something about electricity so they didn't fry themselves if they did anything like try to mess with the electrical meter on the outside to cut power, or anything external to the house. The average Joe would probably put himself 6 feet in the ground. Okay? There's a lot of there's just so much here. And I'm trying to get it in as much as I can. Let me think. So there's questions on, in my own mind, was it possible that Brian was living a double life? Maybe even one that Jenna didn't even know about. Did he cross somebody? And this was retaliation. Whatever the case is, this was not a random robbery. Now, there's rumors that there was supposed to be a robbery of the house. No. There were much bigger, much nicer homes in that neighborhood. Why target this small one? And she's asleep in her bed. So you go in to rob a house, you have a pew-pew, and you go into the bedroom and go bang, bang. Then they took her car and abandoned it, maybe a couple miles away on another remote road. These roads, I highly doubt there's any CCTV cameras. Highly doubt it. And other neighbors' Ring doorbell cameras, all that they're going to see are cars coming up and down the road. Because it's in a wooded area, a lot of trees. I looked it up on Google Maps. And I looked at the satellite view. I couldn't even put the little man down onto the road. That's such a country back road. Just a handful of houses. And they are spread apart. She was surrounded by woods. So, I'm very suspicious. Now, on Facebook and Instagram or TikTok, these two people, Jenna and Brian, look like the picture-perfect couple. He's proclaiming Christianity a couple years ago. How he turned his life over to God and all is well. How he turned his life around. Him and Jenna just celebrated 5 years of dating. And then they were going to get married this year. It was going to be their last year of celebrating, having a dating anniversary. But you all know, a lot of you sleuths out there already know what you see on social media isn't always what happens behind closed doors. And I keep going back to that. You see where I'm going with this. Make it make sense. And there was, I doubted if there was an external breaker box or external main breaker to the house on the outside of the house. You'll find that on a lot of newer homes that, emergency crews could cut the breaker. But you don't find it very often on older homes like this one was. And I'm actually going to take a drive by later. I don't know if I'm going to see the electrical box or not, the meter or not. I have a call into a cop friend from the Ross Draver Township Police Department that I went to school with. And he's a sergeant in that department now. First question is, was the power really cut? And if it wasn't, why isn't there any footage? Because somebody probably had access to the account to go and delete footage. Just saying. Just saying. If the power was cut, if the electric meter's intact, the drop wire from the pole's intact, it was an inside job. Okay? Power breaker in the basement. And why steal the car or take the car and deposit it maybe 2 miles away? And I'm going to flat out say this. This case, I'm sorry but not sorry. And everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This is just my opinion. This has Chris Watts vibes all over it. And before we get into the video today, I also have to let you know that this reading is for entertainment purposes only, not based on fact. Just my opinion, my interpretation of the cards. Do your own research, form your own opinions. Hey, throw your own cards if you will. I'm just a blonde throwing cards here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this reading here. Now, I do have a list of questions. A direction of where I want to go with this. Let me do this. Get this off to the side a little bit. There we go. Just have my last questions on the screen also. Okay. You know what? I want to know the energy around Jenna's murder. Now, I did learn some things that I am not at liberty to disclose right now from somebody that I know on the police department. And I promised I would not put it on social media. But I'm glad the police are definitely working on it. But let's see, what do the cards want to say about Jenna's murder? We have a distraction, not as it seems. Did not go as planned. Things with this case are not as they seem. Something didn't go according to plan. We've got strength. And we've got the High Priestess. Hidden knowledge. And we have tunnel or underground. Let me do this. Let's get these straightened around here. Tunnel, underground. And Wheel of Fortune, payback. Very interesting cards. This feels like a revenge type situation. Definitely feels like a targeted attack. So this paints a really chilling picture here. We're talking misdirection, diversion. It's like someone may have staged the scene, like something to throw off family or law enforcement from the real motive to make it look like something that it wasn't. I go back to the rumors about the robbery and taking the car. Could be, and so it's just like somebody also acting out of character. So, things are not as they seem. And there could have been a botched plan. Whether, and I don't know, I think it is more of the background of the situation, why it may have happened. This feels like that there's a diversion because about something not going as planned according to the perpetrator's approach to things. And this could have been a confrontation with Jenna. So there could have been I don't know what my dog's chewing on, but there could have been something like an argument or something like that that led to what happened to her. And it could have been like simply a manipulation tactic. Then, and then we have the tunnel or underground. Very super symbolic. Literally, it could be referring to somebody coming or leaving but by like some kind of hidden pathway. I don't think there's a tunnel under the house or a hidden route. But it could be. It could be indicating wooded area. There's woods all around her house. I mean, she's surrounded by woods. Okay? That could have concealed them from the cameras to begin with before they were turned off. And it could also be very symbolic of something buried, something very secretive, especially with the high priestess right here next to it. Okay? And it could all... Basement, underground. I shit you not. I just had an epiphany. That's how they got the power turned on in the basement. So somebody personal to her turned the power off. To turn the cameras off. There was a confrontation. I'm thinking, the scene was super, super, super staged. And Jenna may have even known something about some of his dealings. I thought, my first instinct was the fiance, Brian, living a double life. Whether she knew something about it, hidden knowledge, but there's something there that she knew. She may even pretend like she didn't know. But I think she found something out. And this Wheel of Fortune, this payback, this is some kind of karmic retribution. There's cycles that are turning. Somebody believing that they were wronged and had to get even. Revenge, punishment. And it doesn't always mean revenge for a direct action. Sometimes it could be like an imaginative. They believe that they were betrayed or something like that. When maybe in essence they really weren't. It was just something made up in their head. I'm getting that very strong. But it feels like someone came to her property or was already there with a plan. And it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go. And they were driven by emotion or resentment. There's this confrontation, okay? And maybe some kind of intent, maybe it was kind of just intended only to scare her or to manipulate her in some way, but things escalated. There's definitely some kind of cover-up in place here to cover up what really happened and trying to make it look like a robbery. things aren't as they seem. There's some hidden truths at the very core, something that she may have sensed or discovered, and it may be back to someone's double life or their buried past. You know, the tunnel, like I was saying, the tunnel here in this High Priestess, it kind of gives me that secret lifestyle vibes that wasn't just a one-time moment of rage, but this may have come from some kind of deception or long-term tension. And ultimately, this was about power and playback. So, definitely got these vibes going on here. And I think, I don't know if I said it in the video or not, but definitely gave I think in the beginning I said something about I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something. Oh. What you see on social media, what everybody saw on social media, what everybody saw out in the public life, you know, things aren't always as they seem. You think somebody is that happy couple, they appear to be, but you don't know what really goes on behind closed doors. It'd be interesting to know if the camera picked anything else up. Wondering if there's deleted footage. Somebody had an axe to grind. Could it have been somebody getting even with Brian to take out the woman of his dreams? Could be, but I'm not feeling that. This is somebody with really intimate knowledge of the house. Okay, let's get into the rest of the cards. I have to be honest. This has, or reeks of Chris Watts vibes. It really does. Sorry about that. I don't know why that happens every time I go to record. Okay. Reeks of Chris Watts. And I had something else come to me. I'm going to say it up front, and then I'm going to see if the cards I'm looking for actually show up. I'm looking for anything dealing with pregnancy. He already had, I think, has three children to his first wife. And could Jenna have become pregnant? That's just kind of something that just jumped out at me. Only because as I was sitting here shuffling, I saw a stork. And it made me think, oh Lord. And that confrontation, that could have happened the night before. I don't know. An argument about something, it escalated. She goes to bed and it's all over. Or maybe it happened in the morning. But I think that there was some kind of disagreement that happened. And that's the background. Whether that was between Brian and Jenna, for Brian and associates. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Let's check this out. Okay. Present situation. 8 of Cups. Oh, snap. Somebody was emotionally disconnected. Somebody wanted to walk away from... Well, this screams. This screams fucking Chris Watts. Somebody wanted out. 4 of Swords. And they thought their only way out was to take Jenna out. This could also be, it could be flipped where Jenna may have wanted out of the relationship. And her only way out was going to be, they're laying on a casket, they're laying on a coffin. It's not necessarily always what the 4 of Swords represents. Usually represents recovery and recuperation. In this case, intuitively, I'm not getting that definition. I'm getting the ultimate ending. Her passing. Her only way out was going to be through death. It could be that way. But we got to keep on going. And we'll see if the cards reveal more. Root cause foundation. Justice. Has to do with a marriage. Has to do with their contract, with a contract. An agreement. Something legally binding. Somebody wanted out of the relationship and wanted to call off the wedding, did not want to get married for some reason. I am going to say it's 1 to 2 scenarios here. Jenna found something out, and I still believe that made her want to leave the relationship, and Brian couldn't allow that to happen because of what she knew. Or she found something out and Brian thought, we can't let this get out, she has to go. One of those 2 situations, but I'm leaning more towards the first, that she was walking away because of something that she found out, and she did not get out, obviously. Reason passed. Page of Swords. I shit you not. I knew it. Information. Found out. She found out something that was not very good. And she's like, and that was a deal breaker. She found something out. She got some information that came in. Could it be legal implications? I think Brian got himself stuck in something really, really shady. And he couldn't let her leave the relationship alive. That's what I'm getting. Now, conscious influence. This is influencing the situation. The news. Page of Wands. The conversation. I should say heated conversation. Heated conversation over what she found out. I think she confronted him and flipped her lid. She probably said, I'm leaving. And when she went to bed and he went to work, or was going to go to work, the unthinkable. Okay. Then, all this happened. This is what led up to that Friday morning. We had a lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse was on Friday. And see, hidden secrets coming out. And I think that the eclipse was happening in Virgo, which is the security, work, security, finances, Virgo is rules the 7th house, naturally rules the 7th house of partnerships. Yeah, there were changes happening. Six, near future. What's coming next or what? Temperance. The temperance is that balancing and that healing. The temperance is also that patience and moderation. Combining. Yeah. Oh, what happened next was the actual passing. So this happened really close to this confrontation that Jenna and Brian were having. And I don't think Jenna mentioned this to anybody because of the nature of what she found out. I'm just seeing the angel wings. Okay. Subconscious hidden influences. We have the Queen of Pentacles. She is the sister of the Empress. Hidden influence is money. Hidden influence is mother. Mother figure as well. Abundance. There was money. There was some kind of influential about money here as well. I wonder if baby's mama was some kind of influence. I would have to say she may need to watch out and watch her back. Hidden influence. Could baby's mama gave news to Jenna that got this ball rolling? External influences, the Lovers. That's a couple. There's another person involved. The Lovers not always means a love connection. The other thing I always say, the Lovers' secondary meaning, the other meaning, is a choice, a decision. And duality. The original tarot deck, this was called the choice card, not the Lovers, and then Rider-Waite, I think it was, came along and changed it to the Lovers, or somebody did, because they kept getting it confused with the Justice card when it came to interpretation. I'm seeing this as two people connected and now karmically connected. There is an accomplice here to help pull this off. Then we have hopes and or fears, Knight of Wands. Drastic change of residence. Somebody wants to move on from this. But I just got to say, that's a free spirit. I may say that in this whole scenario, hope and fear would be, I think law enforcement is afraid that he's going to run. There's actual, I found it, he actually has been charged in the past from fleeing and trying to evade police, leading him into a high 120 mile an hour car chase in a 40 mile an hour zone. Okay. We're likely outcome, Queen of Cups. An emotional outcome. Love pouring out. We do have two queens here. I want to point that out. We have more than one person. We have information and communication. We had in the oracles, we had the confrontation. Things aren't as they seem. There was a confrontation over wanting out of the relationship. And you can't see that card because it's up too high. Out of frame. So we'll put it over here. The potential outcome here. Let's get some more on this. I want to know more about this Queen of Cups. Six of Wands. I could probably move these over, actually, to leave a little bit more room. I sometimes forget about where the frame is. But victory or ego? Recognition. The Fool. Oh, Nine of Wands. Okay. I'm relieved to see this because the end result is going to be, it's going to take a few weeks. I don't think this case is going to get drug out very long. I did spoon feed this one officer that I've known for a long time. I did spoon feed him some of my own suspicions, things that I would be looking at. What this is I think Jenna is going to be victorious in getting justice. That's what I think, that Queen of Cups is more representation of Jenna. There's going to be victory in Jenna's case. That somebody's going to lose her freedom. The Nine of Wands is often represented as the stamina, the will to push forward, the wounded head wound. Believe she was shot in the head. Execution style, by the way, which kind of aligns up with a certain person's history. But this, I'm seeing these as the bars. And I'm seeing a guard. I'm seeing this as freedom. Sometimes a fool's innocence. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing this as there is somebody is going to lose their freedom over what happened. So there will be an arrest. And I would say in a few weeks, there's going to be an arrest. I think Jenna is going to get justice. I'm also thinking that this could end up being a bigger case than just a murder case. It's going to be opening up a whole fucking can of worms here. So, is there another deck that I could use? Okay, I just want to see if there's anything else the Spirit wants to bring out. Let's just flat out ask, what was the energy between Jenna and her fiance Brian? What was the energy between Jenna and her fiance Brian? What was the energy between Jenna? Oh, wow. That is loud. Right out the gate, guys. I can't make this shit up. The Devil card. The Ruler. Somebody was a narcissist. Mercury. That's travel. That's communication. Coffin. Oh, there was really some... What this is flat out saying... And I mean, this deck's being extremely blunt. There was some really toxic communication between Jenna and Brian, the Ruler, that led to her death. For shits and giggles, let's get the undercurrent. I know it's not the same order, but I just need to add these up. Okay, so the kings are... worth 13. 13 and 9 is 22 plus 11, 33 plus 4, 37. And card 37 is 10 of Hearts, cup overflowing. Family, personal. We're talking within the four walls. They're people that you live with. The 10 of is the 10 of Hearts. Head of the household. I don't think I need any more info. I think the cards have been quite blunt and honest. I think I've got my answer. A little bit more than what I expected. I expected some kind of jealousy play or something like that. There may have been a little bit of that involved. But, and then someone else, I'm not going to mention her name, friend of mine, we talked extensively about this because this friend of mine also knew Jenna. Okay? I felt maybe it had to do with associates or something like that. that Brian was involved with. I think, and I kept on thinking, I can't get away from Brian. I can't get away from him. And this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. Right? I think it was a combination of the two. Definitely had to do with associates and things that Brian was doing. Again, I get that secret life, second, like a dual life, appearing one way and underneath the surface doing other things in secret. I honestly don't believe Jenna knew. I don't think she knew. I think she thought he was on the up and up. They're going to church and all this other stuff. And I think she received news from a Queen of Pentacles. Not saying it was definitely the ex-wife, baby mama. But somebody with that kind of vibe told her something that she knew for fact. Probably had the receipts. There was a confrontation between Jenna and Brian over it. Jenna flipped her lid. Like, WTF, what are you doing, Brian? I thought you were done with this lifestyle. I can't do with this. This is a deal breaker. I'm out. And he freaks and does the unthinkable because he could not let Jenna go on and walk away from him with the knowledge that she had. That's what I'm feeling. And the power was not turned off from the outside of the house. That tunnel card from the beginning of the reading is telling me more of in the basement. But I'm going to leave you guys there. I'm done. And this is where I'm dropping the mic.